Hello, fellow introverts, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we embark on a journey to explore some of the most famous ghost ship legends, their eerie disappearances, and their enduring mysteries. In the vast expanse of the world's oceans and lakes, there exist tales that defy explanation, stories of mysterious vessels that haunt our imagination, the ghost ships. Now, what is a ghost ship? Specifically, a ghost ship typically refers to a ship or vessel that is believed to be haunted, cursed, or mysteriously appearing and disappearing without a crew or explanation. These stories often involve abandoned or lost ships that continue to sail the seas or bodies of water, even after the crews have vanished or perished. Ghost ship tales are prevalent in maritime folklore and have captivated the imaginations for centuries. While many ghost ship stories are rooted in legend, some are based on real historical events or unexplained disappearances, adding to their mystique. Now, I am a fan of deep lore. We know this, but I also am very intrigued by things that are factual. Now, I don't think anybody would want Davy Jones or the Black Pearl or whoever to be real more than I do, but in this case, we're talking about 5 of the most famous ghost ships in the Great Lakes region. First, we're going to talk about the Bannockburn. The Bannockburn was a Canadian bulk carrier that met in fate on Lake Superior in 1902. On November 21, 1902, the Bannockburn, under the command of Captain James Owens, was navigating through a severe winter storm on Lake Superior. The ship, along with its crew of 21, were carrying a load of wheat from Fort William, Ontario to Kingston, Ontario. During the storm, the ship suddenly disappeared without sending any distress signals, leaving no trace behind. It was as if the vessel vanished into thin air. Now, more than a decade later, in 1914, the Bannockburn made a strange reappearance. It was spotted by another ship, the SS Georgian, sailing on Lake Superior. The crew of the Georgian was astonished to see the Bannockburn sailing through rough waters. What was even more baffling is that the ship seemed to be crewless, no signs of life on board. The Georgian attempted to communicate with the ghostly vessel, but there was no response. As the Georgian approached, the Bannockburn suddenly disappeared once again, this time for good. The appearance of the Bannockburn without a crew or explanation added to the ship's mystique and contributed to the lore of the ghostly encounters on the Great Lakes. While there are no concrete evidence to explain what happened to the ship during its disappearance and reappearance, it remains one of the most enduring tales of supernatural occurrences on the Great Lakes. The second, the Thomas Hume, is another intriguing tale of a ghost ship on the Great Lakes, particularly Lake Michigan. This mysterious disappearance and reappearance captured the imagination of many. The Thomas Hume was a wood schooner that was used primarily for lumber transportation on the Great Lakes. On May 21, 1891, the schooner set sail from Chicago, Illinois, bound for Muskegon, Michigan, with a cargo of lumber. The ship and its crew of 7, under the command of Captain George J. Smith, left on a clear day but mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Several years later, in 1897, a local fisherman made a shocking discovery. He found the remains of the Thomas Hume washed ashore on the eastern coast of Lake Michigan, near South Haven. Even more baffling was the condition of the ship. It was largely intact and appeared relatively undamaged, as if it had been abandoned there rather than wrecked. The eerie part of the story was that the ship was devoid of any signs of life. The crew's personal effects, including the clothing and personal items, were still on board. The disappearance and the seemingly untouched state of the ship fueled speculation about what could have happened. The Thomas Hume's mysterious reappearance as an abandoned, well-preserved vessel raised many questions. Some believe that the ship may have encountered a freak storm or navigational issue, leading the crew abandoning it. However, no conclusive evidence was ever found to explain the fate of the crew and the reason for the ship's abandonment. The story of the Thomas Hume remains one of the enduring maritime mysteries of the Great Lakes and has become part of the region's rich lore of ghost ships and unexplained disappearances. The third one I have for you today is something more recent. The sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald is one of the most famous maritime tragedies in the history of the Great Lakes, and while it's not a classic ghost ship, more quotations, it has a haunting quality that continues to capture public interest. Now, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald was a massive iron ore carrier that operated on the Great Lakes during the mid-20th century. On November 10th, 1975, the ship was on a faithful journey from Superior, Wisconsin to a steel mill near Detroit, Michigan, with a cargo of iron ore. Captain Ernest M. McSorley was in command of the vessel. The ship was caught in a severe storm with hurricane-force winds and high waves on Lake Superior. Tragically, the Fitzgerald encountered treacherous conditions and subsequently sank. All 29 crew members on board lost their lives. The exact cause of this sinking remains uncertain, but it's widely believed that the ships may have suffered structural damage and foundered in the storm. The sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald was immortalized in the famous song Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. The song helped cement the ship's place in folklore and the popular imagination. The shipwreck is also the subject of books, documentaries, and numerous cultural references. While the SS Fitzgerald story doesn't involve the ship's return as a ghostly apparition, it is an enduring and haunting quality due to the sudden and tragic nature of the sinking. The ship's bell was recovered from the wreck and is now on display as a memorial, honoring the memory of the crew, serving as a reminder of the perils of the Great Lakes. The next is the tale of the Griffon, also known as Le Griffon. It is one of the oldest and most famous ghost ship legends associated with the Great Lakes. It has captivated the imagination for centuries and is a fascinating piece of North American maritime history. The Griffon was a ship built by French explorer René Robert Cavelier, Sieur de La Salle, in the 17th century. La Salle aimed to use the Griffon to establish a fur trade route through the Great Lakes into the Mississippi River. The ship was constructed near what now is Niagara Falls and set sail on Lake Erie in August 1679. However, it mysteriously disappeared, leaving no concrete evidence of its fate. The Griffon's vanishing act led to numerous speculations and legends. Many have claimed to have seen a ghostly ship resembling the Griffon over the years, often associated with strange weather phenomena on the Great Lakes. Some have even reported eerie sightings of the 17th century style ship with tattered sails, linking to the Griffon. The Griffon's disappearance is not just a ghostly legend, but also a significant historical mystery. It was the first European ship to sail the upper Great Lakes, marking an important chapter in North American exploration. La Salle's exploration ultimately contributed to the French claim of the territories in the Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes region. Now, the mystery of the Griffon's disappearance has fueled debates and numerous expeditions to locate the ship's remains. To date, no definitive proof of the ship's location or fate has been found, adding to the enduring legend of the Griffon. And the last one I'm going to speak about today is the story of the Rouse Simmons, often referred to as the Christmas tree ship. It is a fascinating, heartwarming tale of a ship that has become a part of Lake Erie's folklore, especially during the holidays. The Rouse Simmons was a three-mast schooner built in 1868. Captain Herman Schooneman, also known as Captain Santa, and his crew operated the ship. Every winter, the captain would load the Rouse Simmons with Christmas trees in the northern Michigan and sail to Chicago to sell them to the residents in the city. The ship's arrival marked the beginning of Christmas season in Chicago. On November 22nd, 1912, the Rouse Simmons set sail from Thompson, Michigan, heavily laden with Christmas trees. It encountered a fierce winter storm on Lake Michigan, which ultimately led to the ship's disappearance. The vessel was presumed lost with all hands. A month later, on December 4th, the ship's wreckage was discovered near Two Rivers, Wisconsin. The ship had been wrecked, and the cargo of the Christmas tree were scattered in the icy waters. Crew members, including Captain Santa, had perished in the storm. The Rouse Simmons became a symbol of the holiday spirit, and its story took on a life of its own. The ship and its tragic fate were commemorated in songs, books, and local traditions. In Chicago, the arrival of the Christmas tree ship is still remembered annual reenactment and distribution of Christmas trees to the public. And so, these ghost ships continue to haunt our thoughts, leaving behind tales of mystery, adventure, and the enduring lore of the unknown. I'd like to take a moment to thank you guys if you made it this far, and hey, I'm still starting out. I'm just some guy making videos. So, you want to learn about something? You're interested in something? Or you want me to learn about something? Why don't you go ahead and let me know in the comments? And again, I will talk to you nerds later.